The cul-de-sac was eerily quiet when I pulled into my driveway after 3 years away. My old pickup truck rattled to a stop, and I stepped out, breathing in the familiar scent of jasmine from Mrs. Larson's garden. I've been gone too long, deployed overseas, fighting battles most folks here couldn't imagine. But the second my boots hit the pavement, I heard her voice. Shrill, accusatory. "Karen, you're not supposed to be here," she screeched from her pristine lawn, her manicured finger jabbing the air. She stood there in a tailored blazer and heels, her face twisted with disgust, as if my very existence offended her. Before I could respond, she was on her phone, dialing 911, claiming I was a trespasser on my own property. My home. The audacity hit me like a punch, but what came next would leave her speechless. Sammy vindicated. Karen had always been the neighborhood tyrant. She'd ruled our quiet street like a dictator, her wealth and status her weapons. While I was away, she'd taken it upon herself to manage my property, claiming I'd abandoned it. She'd spread lies that I'd skipped town, leaving my house to rot, and rallied neighbors to petition against me. She'd even convinced the HOA to slap fines on my account, piling up thousands I didn't owe. I'd heard whispers of her schemes through emails from Mrs. Larson, the only neighbor who'd stayed loyal. Karen had turned my absence into her personal crusade, painting me as a deadbeat veteran who didn't deserve the home I'd worked my life to buy. But she didn't know the truth nobody did. I wasn't just back from deployment. I'd been working undercover, part of a federal sting operation targeting corruption in small-town HOAs. And Karen? She was about to become collateral damage. As she ranted into her phone, pacing her lawn, I leaned against my truck, arms crossed, watching her unravel. "He's dangerous," she lied to the dispatcher, her voice dripping with fake panic. "He's been gone for years, and now he's back, acting like he owns the place." Her eyes flicked to me, smug, certain she'd won. I said nothing. I didn't need to. The truth was my ally, and it was closing in fast. Unbeknownst to Karen, my return wasn't a coincidence. My team had been tracking her for months. Her management of my property wasn't just nosy, it was criminal. She'd been siphoning HOA funds, forging documents to seize control of abandoned homes, mine included. She thought she was untouchable, her wealth a shield. But she'd underestimated me and the feds. Then came the twist no one saw coming. Mrs. Larson, the quiet widow next door, shuffled out onto her porch, clutching a thick manila envelope. Her hands trembled, but her eyes were sharp with purpose. "Karen," she called, her voice cutting through the evening air. Karen froze mid-sentence, her phone still pressed to her ear. Mrs. Larson held up the envelope, her voice steady now. "I've been saving these. Every letter you sent, every fake fine, every forged signature. I kept them all." The neighborhood gasped as one. Mrs. Larson, the unassuming retiree who'd baked cookies for every new neighbor, had been quietly collecting evidence. She'd seen Karen's lies from the start and played the long game, waiting for the right moment. That moment was now. Karen's face drained of color. She stammered, trying to laugh it off. "You're delusional, old woman," she snapped, but her voice cracked. The dispatcher was still on the line, and I could hear the faint squawk of questions Karen wasn't answering. Neighbors began to gather, drawn by the commotion. Mr. Patel from across the street, who'd once called Karen a community leader, now looked at her with narrowed eyes. The tide was turning, and she felt it. But the real storm was still coming. In the distance, a low rumble grew louder. Headlights pierced the dusk, and a convoy of black SUVs rolled into the cul-de-sac. Federal agents. Karen's eyes widened, her phone slipping from her hand to the grass. The lead agent stepped out, badge gleaming under the streetlights. "Karen Mitchell," he called, his voice calm but commanding. She nodded, mute, her arrogance evaporating. "You're under investigation for fraud, embezzlement, and forgery," he said, handing her a warrant. The neighbors gasped again, louder this time. Karen's knees buckled, but she caught herself, clinging to her pride like a lifeline. "This is a mistake," she screamed, pointing at me. "He's the criminal. He's the one who abandoned this house." The agent didn't flinch. "Ma'am, we've been monitoring you for months. The evidence is overwhelming. And this man, he gestured to me. He's the one who brought us here. The truth hit her like a freight train. I wasn't just a veteran back from deployment. I was part of the task force that had been building a case against her. My abandonment was a cover, my house a trap to catch her greed. Every fine she'd forged, every dollar she'd skimmed, every lie she'd told, it was all documented, thanks to Mrs. Larson's quiet vigilance and my team's work. Karen's world collapsed in real time. Neighbors whispered, their phones out, recording her downfall. She tried to run, stumbling toward her house, but agents blocked her path. Handcuffs clicked around her wrists as she sobbed, her designer heels scuffing the pavement. The woman who'd terrorized our street was now just a figure of pity, her empire of lies reduced to rubble. As they led her to the SUV, I caught her eye. For a moment, I saw the real Karen, not the tyrant, but a woman undone by her own hubris. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. Justice had spoken louder than words ever could. The neighbors approached me after, some apologizing, others shaking their heads at Karen's audacity. Mrs. Larson handed me the envelope, a small smile on her face. "I knew you'd come back, son," she said. "I just had to keep the faith." "I hopped her. Grateful for her courage." The cul-de-sac felt lighter, like a storm had passed. I was home, and it was mine again, not just the house, but the community I'd fought for, even from afar. Karen's trial would come later, but the neighborhood didn't need a courtroom to know the truth. Her reign was over, her lies exposed. I rebuilt my life there, brick by brick, with neighbors who now saw me not as a deadbeat, but as the man who'd stood up to a bully and won. The experience left me with a fire to keep fighting for what's right, no matter the cost. And as I sit on my porch now, watching the jasmine sway in a breeze, I wonder, what would you have done? If you saw someone like Karen tearing down your community with lies, would you fight back? Or would you stay silent? Share your thoughts. I am listening.